welcome to a new Tuesday. It is New Release Tuesday, which means a bunch of new books. And this week and next week is full of new books, so the little synopses might be a little bit shorter, but I want to make sure that you guys know about these books and know a little bit about them. We have is The Blood Keeper by Tessa Gratton, and this is the second book in the Blood Journal series. And basically the series about this girl who lives in the middle of Kansas and basically very secluded, but she lives with these people who are like her. They all have magical powers, blood magic. She can control magic things, and she falls in love with a boy who might not be quite as magical as her. And then we have Vanquished by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigay, and this is basically, I thought of it as kind of a Beautiful Creatures meets Mortal Instruments kind of paranormal type of adventure, the words. It just seems like a fun book that might be for those kinds. If you like those two books, you might like this. And then we have Demon Catchers of Milan by Kat Beyer, and this is about a girl whose grandfather is murdered by a demon, and her cousins decide that they need to move to Milan instead. And I guess that's where the title comes from. And I definitely would not complain if my cousins were like, "We're moving to Milan," because hello, fashion capital. Come on. A Certain October, which is a contemporary novel by Angela Johnson, not the comedian. This book is about a tragic death and its aftermath. A Dark Light by Sarah Walsh, and I don't even think I need to say anything other than look at this cover. I think it'll tell you just about everything you need to know about this novel. If I Lie by Corinne Jackson, and this is about a girl who is dating the hometown hero, and he's off in Afghanistan fighting the war, and she kisses another guy and she needs to hide the secret from her town. Otherwise, she's basically gonna get like socially crucified. Not a good place to be. Also, she doesn't want to break the heart of her boyfriend, it seems like. Just seems like a very heavy contemporary. I saw her speak at Teen Author Carnival during the week of BEA, and it seemed very interesting. She seems like a really awesome author, and so I have good faith that this is a good book. The Stone Girl by Alyssa B. Scheinmal, and this is about a girl who is, it's very much from the perspective of a girl who has an eating disorder because she feels like that's the only thing, her body is the only thing that she can really depend on and the only thing that she can really control in her life. And so, you know, when all else fails, she can fall back on that. And so she's still trying to live her life. She's still trying to get her first kiss from her not-so-boyfriend, almost boyfriend, not-so-quite boyfriend, something like that. But it seems like a very, again, another intense novel. But, you know, it's always interesting to read books from the perspective of a person who is in that kind of position. I just know that I really enjoyed it. It's kind of a funny story, and so maybe it'll be along those kind of lines. Dragons of Winter by James A. Owen, and this is the 6th book in the series, and it looks like a very fantastical fantasy novel. Embers and Echoes by Kirsten Knight, and this is the 2nd book in the Wildfire series, and it is about a girl named Ash who is a volcano goddess. And she is off to Miami to go meet up with her sister, who is the god of war, and basically talk about family and love and things like that. Seems like an interesting novel. I'm liking these trends of kind of like mixing mythical and contemporary-ish ideas, things like that. Unholy, which is the 2nd book in the Unwind series by Neil Schusterman, and this is a thriller. A magic, possibly? I don't know anything about this series. It looks really awesome. I've heard good things, and the cover creeps me out. Every Day by David Levithan, and let me just read you the synopsis, and it just blows my mind, and I've read most of the book. I haven't finished it yet. Every day a different body, every day a different life, every day in love with the same girl, and Under My Hat, Tales from the Cauldron, and this is edited by Jonathan Starhan. This is an anthology, and it involves people like Neil Gaiman and Holly Black and Garth Nix. must have. Defiance by CJ Redwine, and this is such a good cure for your Hunger Games hangover. So good. It's about this girl named Rachel her father dies, and she kind of has to figure out how to keep on surviving, and she has the help of her childhood best friend, and he helps train her and everything. And she is kind of sent out on this, well, she kind of sends herself out on this mission. Basically, dragons, dystopian. There's a commander she has to kind of take down, and just a lot of good action, crazy stuff happening, and I liked it. So I'm thinking you might like it too. Don't Turn Around by Michelle Gagnon, and creepiest cover. This is about, you know, kind of reminding me of Tron, with the grid and this girl escaping the grid and trying to hack it and things like that, and maybe some part of the Matrix. Just, if you're a fan of either of those movies, you might want to read this book. Starling by Leslie Livingston, and this is about a girl who is the star of the fencing team, and when a storm washes up these creatures, she has to defend her town, her school, and crazy things happen, basically. Foretold, 14 Tales of Prophecy and Prediction, and this is by a whole bunch of awesome authors that you might have heard of before. There's people like Rochelle Mead and Laini Taylor, Meg Cabin, and Carrie Ryan. You know, like the kind of like the people who write the you know, YA creepy stories, a little bit of this, that, and the other. Great stuff. Lost Girl by Sangu Mandona, and this is about a girl who's basically a copy of a girl. She's not the actual original of the girl, but she's a copy. And when her best friend dies, basically she runs off from the people who created her, and she goes and finds the girl's the original girl's family, and tries to get them to kind of accept her as the family and some other stuff, and just kind of deciding whether or not she wants to keep on living as this girl. Erasing Time by CJ Hill, and this is about two twin sisters who time travel 400 years in the future to find that the world is not quite as it was. Kind of crazy times. On August 30th, we have Lucid by Adrienne Stoltz and Ron Bass, and this is about two girls actually, who swap bodies in their dreams. 15 Love by Nicole Leigh Shepherd, and this is more like a repackaging than a new release, but the cover looks really fun, and it seems like a really fun book, and you know, if you know anybody who's in the little bit younger of YA, this might be for them. This is about two girls, again another twin story, but it's about these two girls who they play doubles on their local tennis team, I believe, and they're on the track to go to the Olympics. And one of the sisters decides she doesn't want to play tennis anymore. And so the other one kind of has to deal with that. And it's in alternating point of view. So there you got that. Dangerous Boy by Mandy Hubbard. And this is basically a retelling of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. On September 1st, we have Undead by Kirsty McKay. And this is basically school trip, and then everybody turns into zombies. And it's basically all the scary movies involving zombies, but kind of in a Shaun of the Dead kind of vein, and so seems like a lot of fun. This next one, I'm not sure if it's called Falling Too Fast or Border Town. It kind of like said either or on Goodreads, but it is by Malin Alegria, and it's about this girl named Alexis, and she is a singer in her town, and she's a teenager, and she dreams of stardom one day, but she kind of has to stick to working at her family restaurant and taking voice lessons and being involved in the school mariachi band. And she actually falls in love with a guy from a rival school who is also in a mariachi band. True love. Mariachi bands. That's the new thing. Like music books, you know, people like the music novel kind of stuff where they're bands and stuff. Mariachi novels needs to be a thing. I'm not even going to be able to say this title without even looking, so we're just going to go ahead and get out the handy dandy laptop. A Soldier's Secret, the incredible true story of Sarah Emmons, a Civil War hero by Marissa Moss. And this is about a girl who goes undercover, not really undercover, she is an undercover spy at one point, but for the most part, she is a girl portraying a guy named Frank Thompson during the US Civil War era. So That's always fun. I like that era probably because I was raised in the South. But, and The Evolution of Evelyn Serrano by Sonia Monzano. I did say that correct. This is the lady who is Maria on Sesame Street. Very prolific Hispanic actress. Basically, she wrote this awesome novel about this girl living in Spanish Harlem, that's what it's called, and basically going through the trials and tribulations of growing up in this neighborhood and growing up as a Hispanic girl during these years. I don't know if it's, I think it's based off of Sonia's real life and kind of how she grew up, and based on not, you know, biography or autobiography. It's just kind of like, you know, that loosely based off of, and I think that'll be interesting because I always admired her and things like that. I don't know why, but during our Standard 9 testing, I don't know if other people had to do this in elementary school, but we had Standard 9 testing, and her life story was a part of our listening, you know, when you have to listen to the teacher and answer some questions, and so that her story was a part of our thing, and so I'm excited to read this book. The Dark Unwinding by Sharon Cameron, and this is a steampunk novel. Seems pretty awesome. I think that this is worthy of my reading. Yes, it looks like a great book. Amber House by Kelly Moore, Tucker Reed, and Larkin Reed, and this is about an ordinary girl who clashes with an extraordinary house. And this house, when she goes into it, she sees visions of its past. And so that might be an interesting novel if you like maybe historical fiction, possibly, with some paranormal. So, seems like a good time. That is all I have to go before I run out of battery and everything, so I hope you all have a great week, and keep reading, keep doing what you do, and don't forget to watch this past week's episode of This Week in YA that we just released yesterday, so catch up on all of that stuff. We're catching up, we're getting back on the horse, and we're gonna bring it back